Start. Hello to the TOC meeting, 17th of March. So today we have our usual agenda, going over the action items from last week, reviewing our dashboard, and talk about any other business. So we don't have any working group update. We already went through all the working groups. Maybe we can pause for 1, 2, 3 weeks and then start again. Yeah. Um, Maybe after Easter also. Okay, then actions from last week. Action items from last week. So there are no action items. Then we can start with our dashboard. Inactive users. This already is open since 2 weeks, so we can then proceed. I see. So we have merge conflicts. So looks like we had some new people since it's been opened. Okay, um, just a second, I'm a little bit. Most probably we had a PR to react. I'm a little bit confused why we just remove Bogdanov, VR Bogdanov, and
I
not
think
the.
you just that was part of the conflict resolution.
Yeah, I removed too much in the conflict
Hmm.
resolution.
I doesn't matter that much. It will show up in the next months again, right?
Yes, yeah. Or I can fix afterwards. Hmm, interesting. It wasn't on the delete branch. It was only on the other branch that deletion. And but I think we don't need to debug here. This no, there is no. If you say it will show up again, then it's fine. I'm also okay with that. Or I can fix it afterwards and then merge. Okay, I'm merging, and then we we can validate our inactive check. Okay. Archive. Okay, this is merge.
Yeah, I was surprised because I remember to merge it last time.
Um, is about updating the RFC 27 option size limit. Uh, so we started the final comment period last week, and there are no additional comments, so we approve this. We can merge this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a prerequisite for the other one.
You mean if we
The
don't
app to app.
if we do not accept it, uh, do we need this if that one for some reason I don't know doesn't get
I mean,
accepted?
I think it's still useful, right, to have it. Like this is a general concern with that feature.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
So I now need to go build this.
Yes. Greg, do you need time or?
No, it wasn't showing up on the RFC dashboard for me for some reason, but I found it.
Okay, thank you. Then we can also merge this one. Yeah, now you need to implement this.
Thank you. But it doesn't have an RFC number yet, right? So
We
no,
don't
no
need
hurry.
it's an existing RFC update of an.
Oh yeah, sure, yes. Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
We did the hard work in the TUC to accept it and now just implementing.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
um, dynamic disks. So there was another RFC here I saw, which is somehow not showing on the dashboard.
The thing today.
Only how to discuss two of them. Um,
Yeah.
open here. So why is not showing? Oh, it's put to done. Oh,
Yeah, because I closed it when I misclicked. So I think that happened.
okay. But we will discuss. So we had an RFC about dynamic disks, which was proposing extension of the director APIs. To introduce dynamic disks, so additional APIs where Bosch clients can create, delete, attach, detach disks to VMs.
Yeah, so I think there was some process confusion around that one. I wasn't present in all these meetings, so I only have like third-hand knowledge on this. But I think my impression of the author's impression was that coming out of the foundational infrastructure working group meeting, their impression was that the RFC was uh, on track to approval. So then they went ahead and implemented it. And then recently
No,
they submitted the PR to implement it and it got
that's
rejected.
wrong. It was already implemented before the RFC, right? So it started with an implementation. Then it was like, this should be an RFC. Then the RFC came, then the discussion came. And then later there was we had a few discussions that should have gone back to the TOC to get approval. That never happened. And then there was question about can we merge this PR, and I was like, no, the RFC is not merged or approved.
Yeah, well, at the very least, I definitely agree. We should have discussed it more in the TOC.
Mhm.
And the uh, end state, at least, is that there's a PR with an implementation for the first RFC, which is now currently stuck in limbo. Uh,
There has been like that should have started with an RFC to begin with, right?
yes and no. I mean, we've received plenty of RFCs that have already been implemented. Like we just had one recently for I forget what it was, but oh, the like uh micro CF or whatever, CF on
Yeah,
kind thing where there was already an
sure.
implementation prior to the RFC, so that's not unheard of.
Mm, Sure, but like the fact that there's an implementation is not like a reason to just merge an RFC.
Yeah, I agree. But it was, I think the author was confused about the state of the RFC.
Okay.
So I think it got a little bit distracted this work because in the Bosch team people were busy with getting the release and somehow also getting the background. But yeah,
Yeah.
we had discussions and there was still unclear at this point about how client will get authenticated to the director. This was the state at that time, and the work stopped here. Now we have another RFC, which a little bit similar direction.
Yeah, it has a bit of a different scope, right? So my concern with the first RFC was the like usability for the broader ecosystem, right? It was really focused on the Bosch side, and um, this is intentionally taking Diego into scope, right? Because that to me makes it easier to discuss the usability, right? Because we see how we're gonna adopt it, how we're gonna use it, right? I want that all to be in scope. For an RFC, that's important, and like an RFC doesn't mean that you're committing to implementing all of this, but at least as a community, we're saying if we want this, this is how the different components are going to interact, right? And it could be that one part is implemented by one company and another does someone else, another company does another part of it, right? Uh, but I think at least as a community, we need to agree on how this is all going to interact together. That's why the broader scope.
But I think there's also some uh, foundational differences between the two RFCs as far as the implementation strategy goes. Like,
It's
Yeah.
the authentication, right? Like so there's parts that are being reused, and I'm happy to share credit with Maria, right? Like we did the same with the MTLS app to app MTLS, right? Like I started with one RFC, and then Beyhan said like, but we have done some internal work, right? And then we started a second RFC, and we share credit there, like as authors. So that could be the same here, right? Don't want to take credit. I just want to move the conversation further, right? So it's building on top of, there's reuse of some of the ideas that were there. For example, the locking mechanism, so that deployments are not locked when so that during a deploy you can still attach and detach disks. That was something Maria came up with. There's an implementation for that, which I think we should keep. This is only refining the mechanism of how we're authenticating um, and reusing the instance identity certs that we already have, right? Because I think that's a really important mechanic to reuse because it makes it way easier to adopt this and deploy this through the Bosch manifest, right? So that's the repositioning or the restructuring that's happening. And then there's the trying to prove that the Diego side can also work, right? So
I personally like the Diego site, so to have somehow this feature usable by Diego. And with this approach to how we can delegate, create attached operation over nets, not to direct to a little bit, a little bit not sure. So I think we have to agree somehow about this, whether we want to go over APIs here or extending the responsibilities of the Bosch agent to be able to yeah, execute certain actions for disks through message bus. This is the discussion here.
That's a discussion point, definitely, right? Like I really like the manifest side, right? So if you're looking at the Bosch manifest, I think there's some snippets in here as well. I think down, oh here, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this side I really like, right? So that you can for instance group say what your policies are, right? I think this is really strong. And that would like even if you're wanting to implement something for like the more centralized broker thing for a Kubernetes thing, right? You could have that deployed with Bosch and set the permissions a bit broader, right? But it's still all controlled through your Bosch manifest. So I really like that from an adoption point of view, right? It's really in line with how other things in the Bosch ecosystem work. And that's what I'm missing. That was my biggest objection to the other proposal.
Mhm.
So
Um,
again, I wasn't present in all the foundational infrastructure working group meetings, so I haven't, and I didn't watch the recording, so I'm not privy to all the discussion here. But it sounds like there's kind of two major differences here. There is some overlap in implementation, but there's also some divergence in the underlapping implementation. And then there's also, in addition to that, there's a difference in scope, whereas the first RFC focuses like basically solely on the like Bosch layer and doesn't have an opinion or a direction on how it would actually be utilized by uh, other Cloud Foundry components or whatever to achieve outcomes, like user-facing outcomes. Whereas this one has a more expansive scope.
Yeah.
So, uh, like, I guess, would you be more amenable to the first RFC if it was expanded to have a similar scope to this one, even if the like underlying implementation uh, was divergent from what you're proposing here?
I don't know what you mean with the implementation, right? Because I mean, there's just aspects to this, right? We're not talking about implementation. We're talking about like architecture things, right?
Sure,
Like
sure.
how are
Yeah,
we
I
going
guess by
to
implementation, I mean
authorize
like,
and
yeah, the way it's architected. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Maria posted a
because
big
there
thing
is
that I
also an
haven't.
implementation, right? That was why I was confused.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like in the end, I see this as we merge the ideas into one thing. If it's about credit, right? I don't know which one we're eventually gonna take. Doesn't really matter. But like I just want to converge on ideas and give credit to the people that have contributed. Um, and then practically what that means. I mean, I don't know what I don't. I still don't know what the easiest way is to iterate on these things. But like my feeling with the other RFC was that like I gave feedback, but then my feedback was rejected. Like, and then it feels like, yeah, okay, but this is still you rejected my feedback, but it's not like I'm now convinced of your point, right? Like I want to do more of a consensus thing, right? We want to reach like we eventually want to agree, find something that works for everybody. I think that's really important in open source. It's not so much about saying your opinion is not valid or it doesn't cover what we want. I mean, then in the end, maybe we shouldn't be doing it, right? Like if we cannot find consensus, right? Like that, it's all about consensus in open source, in my opinion. Building something that more people can use, so that you have broader use of the feature. And that's what I'm trying to reach with this, finding something that works for everybody. Um,
Yeah. But if the other RFC's scope is extended like to this one, my understanding is that the difference, only difference which we need to agree on is how you trigger the actions. Like, is it over not the message pass over the agent, or is it we find another way over the APIs? And how is it integrated then in the volume service?
Yeah. I mean, I think Maria had posted a response to this. I didn't fully read through it, but it looked like there were at least some set of architectural misalignments in addition to scope misalignments.
yeah, it was the first iteration, right? So I've already pushed commit out with a whole revert with some changes just for before this meeting, and I'm in the process of responding to Maria's concerns.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think you know, I'm not Maria, so I can't speak exactly for what her motivations are. But my like second or third hand perspective is I think like credit isn't necessarily the primary issue. It's more of just like they have an implementation that they want to be able to work on, and that's currently blocked behind the RFC. So I think they're mostly motivated by just wanting to make forward progress on the stuff they're working on.
yeah, and again, that's not an argument, right? Like I think that's as a community, we shouldn't be like seeing that as a reason to just move ahead and merge it, right? Because you don't have a with this RFC process, you don't have a second chance, right? If we merge this, then there is a solution, and we have to stick with it. Like it's really unlikely that we're gonna have an alternative implementation once we have gone through this process.
Yeah, though at some point we also have to like do stuff. Like,
Sure, but I'm like the fact that this RFC has been dormant, like, and not like feedback hasn't been taken. That's not like, I mean, that's the author's fault, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's
I
okay,
think it's a little
but
bit on us also. Like, I think part of our responsibility is to shepherd RFCs through. So, uh, but yes, I agree that there's definitely been some process breakdowns throughout this.
I mean, to be frank, like that's on the it's the responsibility of the person working for the company. Like that, in the end, this is. I think you are the person that should have moved this forward, right? Because it's coming from your company, right? So then you are the representative of that company and should be trying to move these RFCs forward.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we have also the responsibility to keep the product usable and not get too complex.
Mhm.
Um, Um, and it's a good thing that we have here the central point where things are coming, and we can then try to align the requirements. So there seems to be requirements in that direction. It will be great to have one solution which
Mhm.
fits to that requirements, and not two solutions, which will make things quite complicated. Um, what would be what kind of option do you see to proceed with the approach to somehow get to an agreement here?
I think comments just came in, right? So I would like
Okay, there are
let's.
your
I mean,
comments. Oh, oh,
no, as in like there was a comment from Maria yesterday with
yeah.
feedback, and I think Chris posted one 2 hours ago or something like. So comments are still coming in on this RFC, right? So we should at least see where the discussion goes.
Mhm. I can certainly agree with some of the comments regarding how the observability and uh, traceability with the nuts can be achieved. So we use that one, yeah, CloudFoundry uses for route registration. And when we have the issues, when routes get delayed, the registration get delayed, it's really hard to debug where the issue is, what is the issue. Having APIs, going over the APIs, I feel like better. Somehow I am used to it, let's say. Yeah, I don't know what others prefer.
I mean, in the end, that point is less like I'm not that attached to the nets aspect of it. I'm more attached to the end user experience, as in the operator, right? Like the fact that it's all controlled through the manifest, that one is really big for me, right? If we want to implement an alternative mechanism in a director that achieves the same goal, I'm okay with that. I mean, it could also be the agent actually calling out to the director over an HTTP API. But I mean, like that's introducing in a different. It has other trade-offs, right? But like
Yeah. Mm.
just saying, um, like the reason why I'm reusing the agent and the nets bus is because it's an existing network path, right? It exists, the ports are open, and we already have the infrastructure to the identity stuff, right? We have that certificate, so it's something easy to piggyback off. But if we want, we really need an API. Yeah, could also be different.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking what happens if, for example, redeployment is it's going on, and let's say you put max invite 10. Let's say you have 300 Diego VMs, then 30 of
Mm.
them are
Yeah. But
drained,
that's
and you have, for example, I don't know, 100 container per Diego VM, and then all of them, maybe, let's say some of them have disk operations, and they just fire to the director, and then,
yeah. That's
yeah,
definitely a concern. But also that's like a concern that's shared across the RFCs, right? Like the scaling of the Bosch
yeah,
director and making that highly available. I think that was already called out as a thing we probably want to work towards, maybe.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, with APIs, maybe you have better way to maybe to address it. But just a feeling because I have more experience with the going over APIs.
but also the scaling with nets is well understood, right? We do it for the routing as well. Route register, everything goes over nets, right?
I don't
Mhm.
know scaling whether we have the ways to scale nuts. Um,
It clusters. I mean, not on the, but then you need to go to a multi-VM Bosch setup, right? And that's not part of this RFC, but I could see that like happening. But I think that was also discussed um, during the working group meeting, right? We discussed that there was the desire to make like Bosch is there are some currently some limitations in the Bosch director that make it a singleton, but you could easily, like if we resolve some of these things like the local storage of tasks, for example, right? If we
yeah,
address these
I
things, then it
think
can
this is
scale.
yeah out of scope to make
It's out of
director
scope. Yeah.
HA. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you have to go with the current qualities of the director using
Yeah.
this by your own risk.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Greg, is it fair if we say the other RFC we can extend the scope and then try to merge, or then I don't know, then we have to find a way to agree on the different way how the actions are triggered.
Yeah, so I guess like acutely for 1401, I proposed a final comment period. I mean, we can take a formal vote, but it sounds like that vote's probably not going to pass with the current alignment of the TOC. So maybe we should at least, and by we I mostly mean Ruben, provide a uh, concrete list of things you want to see before moving to that final comment period. So maybe something like, hey, Beyhan still has an open question. I'd like to see the RFC extended to include a more concrete client use case or something like that. And here's some other feedback items I have that weren't addressed or something like that. Because it sounds like there's been some meetings that I haven't been privy to or whatever, where there's some hanging items that weren't addressed just in addition to Beyhan's comment. So maybe if we get those on the record, then that can help move that one forward. And then it sounds like in parallel, there's active discussion on your RFC. So if we can get the two RFCs to similar places in their life cycle, then maybe we can have a more apples to apples direct comparison there.
I think one of the problems is between the two RFCs is what the end objective is. With Ruben's is I get persistent volumes added for app containers in Cloud Foundry. With Maria's, it's adding an API for their Kubernetes solution to be able to provision disk. I think it's going to be really hard to come to a medium ground on the two when they have very differing end goals. They share a lot of common overlap in the interim with them, but the fact that they have a very different end state, I don't know that it means that it's 1401 versus 1453. I don't know that that is the answer either.
In my opinion, I have to say that I'm not too deep into this topic, and I'm definitely not an expert in Bosch internal implementations, etc. But I find it important to discuss the both use cases. They come from different customers, and it would be nice to find a solution on the lower level implementation sites that at least doesn't prevent neither use case. That's maybe if that results in one RFC which states two use cases, or if we build one RFC as a basis and another one that refers to it, I think that's not that important.
Yeah.
Basically, they need the same disk management in the director, right? Only the one has APIs exposure, the other one agent exposure, but the implementation in Bosch director should be like the same regarding disk dynamic disk management. Is that?
Yeah. It's in the end the same feature on the director side.
Yeah. Yeah, the common ground is to pay director to be able to manage disks dynamically. So, and then this discussion about APIs and agent.
Yeah, so I think the what's missing in the initial RFC is the adoption of this feature for operators who want to use this with Diego, right? Like if we can have a clear path to how to adopt this feature in there. And that doesn't mean that they have to go implement that, but at least we need a clear adoption plan.
You had mentioned earlier that you had some feedback that you felt like they weren't incorporating into the RFC. Was that around Diego
and that's
consumption, or was
like
there other stuff also?
no, that was like in the initial comment, like in that thread. in that RFC, and that was reiterated in the Foundation of Infrastructure Working Group meeting, and that was considered out of scope. But I mean, sure, then we get into this situation.
So Greg's proposal was that you put Ruben comments on that RFC about the meeting.
My comments are there. I created a whole alternative RFC, so I think it's clear what my points are. I already put quite a lot of time in this. I don't think it's blocked on me. As in, it's not me, I'm providing a lot of feedback, right? That's what I've done.
Right. But I've specifically proposed creating a final comment period. So if we're going to reject doing that, then we should probably have at least some concrete items to provide there. So
Final
is the
comment
concrete
period.
item just there's a competing RFC or a alternative
Sure.
RFC, so we need to address that before we can put this in final comment period?
I would think so. And usually we discuss final comment periods in the TOC meeting, but I mean, like, you can request one, I guess, in comments. But yeah, I don't feel like we're done with the discussion around this topic, right? Like, and the fact that there's two PRs, like it's one topic in my mind, right? And I don't feel like we're in the final comment period for this topic.
One approach could be if we say we agree that Direct will manage dynamic disks and their APIs to do this, and you have a way how in the community can use those APIs. This RFC could build on top of that, extending the agent using that functionality in the Direct tool to manage the APIs and integrate with volume services. So the additional complexity we get that we expose also APIs on Direct side. Being able to use all APIs in and all over the agent, the same functionality.
Like an alternative I could see is something like some sort of special Bosch link, right? That would allow you to create a link to the Bosch directory itself and request credentials. That would also make that like, I mean, it's an alternative. I don't know if we still have to evaluate which we like more, but that would be at least a way to achieve something similar, like a similar onboarding experience or adoption experience. But you would tie yourself to UAA, which is technically an optional component, right? Not all Bosch directors use a UAA. I mean, it's an optional ops file. Let's put it that way. So yeah.
But at the end, I think having APIs and having another integration point over the agent maybe is not so, because in Diego you have this instance that you want to make use of that, and going over the agent maybe is. So then we can discuss whether you want to go that path to extend the agent and have options to integrate in volume service the same functionality. If we want to build on top of the two RFCs, I mean.
I'm wondering, should we move to another RFC because of the, I mean, I see Norm here as well. I don't know how much time we have left.
Sorry. Yeah. So we continue the discussions in the RFCs. Um,
I just joined, figure whenever you guys wanted to talk about it. So I'm not forcing anything through. I'm leaving it following your process. So if it's not for this week, it's fine.
It's worth discussing.
Usually,
Let's just say this thing has been, the whole concept's been lingering now for what, 2.5 years, if not longer. So what's another
No,
week or two?
no, but now there's an RFC. It's urgent.
Okay.
uh, I, I feel like we have to clean the discussion and try to find a way how we build through the RFCs. Greg, before starting the final comment period, I don't know to say, I want to say, okay, we reject because we don't have enough, I don't know, we didn't discuss that. Is it fine to try to find something in the foundation infrastructure working group, like to get another round of discussion and then next week try to start the final comment period here?
Sure. I mean, I think that's appropriate to solve it in the working group, especially if there's like technical misalignment or architectural misalignment.
Yes, yeah, I
Otherwise,
think
we could just
that.
have Stephan resolve it.
Yes.
We let Chris,
At least I got the discussion going again.
we let Chris and Stefan vote.
And I just want to give a thank you to Beyhan to be my little devil on my shoulder to make sure things move through. So thank you.
You're welcome. Also happy to see that we have activities in that direction. So here, the RFC, do you want to say 2, 3 words, Norman?
Basically, I've been trying to figure out what direction to go to deal with these changes. Um, and every time I've tried to raise it up in different groups, let's just call it that, it always fell on deaf ears. So I decided not to do anything until somebody spoke up, which has finally occurred. And so I put some stuff together to allow us to at least do the analysis of plugins to figure out what needs to be removed and what doesn't, and what needs to be done manually in terms of how things work. There's as Ruben called it, a deep research document that I did, um, because that's the way I've learned how to use RFCs from the 70s. Um, so basically, you do the research and then you propose what you want to do, and then everyone discusses and changes it as they need. So this is basically a tool that um, does an abstract syntax tree. It started off just looking at the symbols, and then it started looking at the call graphs, and then it started looking at the functions that were defined within the existing um, V2 interface, so you could find where things were at and figure stuff out. And then it went into the analysis of, okay, what are the missing pieces that clients were using? Because right now, most of the V2, I think it's like 11 out of 20 of them that I looked at, um, had deeper claws into the CLI code. And so therefore, um, the boundary lines between what could be used and not used wasn't very well defined. So this one is just this document is just purely on the concept of what can be done to clean that up to separate that boundary line so the CLI working group can move forward what they want to do for futures for plugins, including maybe not support plugins at all. I mean, that's a choice to the point that the plugin developers can do what they need to. What was interesting was for me was that the overall assessment from the different people who actually looked at it, we all kind of converged on one idea, which is basically separate, keep things separate. So this is the implementation of implementing what Rabobank came up with, and which I improved upon. And so that's basically what it is. Just it's basically an analysis tool to figure stuff out and provide you simple abilities. If you only stayed with the API that was defined, it will do the complete conversion for you. And if you are outside that, it identifies what needs to be done to make that happen. Okay.
So this is an open source tool, or
It's an open source tool. I think I used what is it? MIT license. So it's something that I wrote. It's in that directory. If you go to where it has what I call the more detailed document, it has also the tool in there that I'll call it proof of concept. I'll prove it some more as we get more plugins underneath its belt. So the tool is there. You could run it. You could look at it.
Isn't it in the
And
links
again,
at
I
the
will
bottom?
be upfront. I did use Claude Code to help me do the analysis and all that type of stuff because that's the only way I can work these days, uh, needing the assistance. So this is the writing itself is mostly me or adjustments with Claude moving parts around, but it's the writing and building and stuff like that. So
I think
feel
this is
free to
the
look at it and take it
this
from
is the
where.
reusable package, right?
Yes, yes. It will generate a package for your particular
No, but I
plugin.
meant what we're currently looking at, right? Like Beyhan is sharing his screen. This is the CF plugins from Rabobank. But I think like your code is that
Yeah.
like the plugin, is that linked
Yeah,
as well
my
in the
code is under
RFC?
Norm Brownvit's whatever.
Okay, but that's not linked in the RFC.
I thought it
It's
was. I thought it was
okay.
down. If it's not, it was my fault.
Oh, is it the plugin survey?
Yes, that's the beginning of the
Is
survey ones, and then you get to my. Because it was kind of like uh, your comment, Ruben said, "Well, I don't want the research paper. I just want a summary."
yeah,
So,
thank you.
which is valid, and so I did the summary ones, and so you could get to my tree and see what's going on there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm not that deep into the CFCLI, but what's the timeline? I heard there's like different versions from some internal discussions. I heard there's a V8 and a V9, so that there's a timeline attached to those or not? Like, what's the target for these migrations?
The target, from what I understood from the conversations, is to move off of basically right now there's only a V8 interface.
Mhm.
V9 is future development. So to me V9 doesn't exist. Okay. For the comment about does V7 still exist? Unfortunately, it does because people haven't moved off of older systems. But I do agree that it is deprecated and everything else. So I did it for V7, V8, and whatever the future is. This is only covering how to get people off of basically V8, and V7 is just a added bonus at this point. And I'm looking trying to get this all people off of um, the current V2 interface, hopefully by the end of this year, but that's really up to the working group,
Yeah, so
not me.
yeah, that's the API, right? So that's
Yeah.
the CF API, and then there's also the uh, CLI Go package versions. Then I would assume, right? V8 is or is that what's that referring to? That's a CLI version then?
Yes.
Yeah, but also a package, the Go package or not?
I bel That's the working group. It will be it is a Go package right now. I just said that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, okay. Yeah, those things would be good to have in here, right? Like how the timelines of these different things, how they line up, right?
Okay.
So correlate like this is targeting that version of the CLI package, and this is what we're going to do for that one, right? And that this is how it correlates to the deprecation or the removal of the V2 stuff, right?
Okay.
The bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So in my
I'm going to leave.
in my
I'm going to leave that up to the working group to make that decision. Since I'm just in this particular case, I'm just trying to resolve one issue, but they have the bigger issue how they want to do it. I have, as I said, I have no issues of putting that in here, or the deprecation timeline is a separate topic because it is has no relationship to making code or anything like that. It's just timeline of how you want to remove something from the Cloud Foundry ecosystem. So it can go either way, or I can at least reference whatever the working group wants to do. I'm open to any suggestions here for that.
There is a raised hand.
Yeah, well, just one comment first, Norman. You can drop the support for V7 because it was discontinued, that branch. Now it's only V8 and V9 that's being maintained.
There's a difference between maintained and what people who use Cloud Foundry still use. And it's unfortunate.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that they're still, I can't even call them clients. People who use Cloud Foundry are still using V7, so I hate to
Yeah, but the thing
I
was,
hate to isolate them, but we can be stronger in the statement of saying, hey, it happens to work for V7, but that's not the route. Everyone should be on V8 now. So
I would just drop the support for V7 because I don't even know if V7 is fully compliant with the V3 API.
it is not.
I don't
it's
know.
not.
In
It's
the
not.
No.
community,
So
we-
So V7 is dead, and whenever we have the same situation, customers come with support requests. If I read CLI V7, this ticket is closed for me. I'm very strict about that, and that works out because V8 is a very, very good drop-in replacement of V7. So
yeah, and it's
usually
already
that
there
gets
for
very
quite some
well
time.
accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's there for some time also. But
Norman,
actually,
you
what I
can-
wanted to say is I actually added a comment to the issue that was open, and which is an alternative regarding V8 because I think we could actually simply update because the whole refactoring of CLI to go to V3 basically went through a code split where you have the whole V2 code base, which apparently was kept there only for the benefit of the plugins. But for example, the app summary, which is what get app does, in a way was implemented already with the V7 actions. And what I thought was, well, perhaps a simpler and less intrusive from a development or user point of view would be to simply update the plugin RPC server to actually call the V7 actions to provide the same information as what now is being given with V2, which was what originally was done with the transition to V3. And I made a PR just to prove a little bit kind of a proof of concept. It works actually, the PR. I tested it locally with some old plugins and they all call V3. It supports the CF trace and all, and it does have the advantage that it doesn't require the plugin developers and all of that to actually update the code or analyze or whatever. And if they want to continue to use a code, a plugin which is a little bit older but simply doesn't work because it's trying to call the V2 API, well, it still does. It still works. And I think it would be a more conservative approach, perhaps. But for the V8, it would probably be a more smooth transition instead of having a migration process for the plugins themselves. I mean, the plugins should be updated to start using the V8 dependency anyway. That's why we had those discussions some months ago. and the mergings done, which is now fully Golang version workflow compliant. But I think it would make the whole transition a little bit smoother. And then all these new ideas about, doing the analysis, changing the interface, plugin, that would be work for V9. But just wanted to, I don't know if you had the opportunity to look at the comment I left, but yeah, just wanted to mention that.
That's fine. One of the issues I ran into is there's a lot of I'll use the TOPS plugin where it uses a lot of the CLI command or CLI without terminal, and it's making direct calls either to the CAPI or to the CF CLI command directly, and those are the ones that are have to be converted, let's just say, to do whatever you want. My tool just points those out. So therefore,
but the PR that I made actually converts those two. So it starts calling the V7 action commands instead of calling
so you're calling
commands.
The V7 level down below. Okay.
Exactly, because basically that was the work that was already done during the translation. So in calling the commands directly, what it does, it goes into the command registry to call the normal CLI commands, but the old V2 implementations. So this proposal actually makes it call the command registry of the V3, so the new CCV3 implementation. So a next step would be to actually clean up all the repositories and the command registry that handles the V2 commands, because basically it's garbage that is down left there. Garbage, it's a way of saying basically it's not used, it's dead code.
Right.
So overall, it would also simplify the whole CLI, and it would cover. I didn't actually try the top itself, but I would expect it to work all the same.
I think maybe it makes sense to have a dedicated topic for this in the RE working group meeting, so to discuss, or in the RFC or the PRs.
So next week there's an RE working group meeting. If CLI people would participate, we can discuss this topic. Would be great. Yeah, I just mentioned it because so far many RE working group meetings are in fact a CAPI open office hour because of the participation. But yeah,
I'm fine with that to discuss that.
Yeah, I have no issues.
Okay, then I put it on the agenda and
maybe promote that agenda point in the CLI Slack so that people see and come.
Yeah, I can do.
Great, but great that we have movement here. Okay, time is up, unfortunately.
Can we get the app-to-app thing in the final comment period? RFC? Or it's currently called domain scoped MTLS for Go router. I think that's what it ended up being.
Are there all the comments already resolved?
Yeah, there's a problem that people start. There's these comments with a lot of points in them, so it's harder to see if the thread is resolved. For example, that one from Emilia. I tried to address that here. So I believe it's addressed, but I don't know.
I think
I
it
didn't
would be
get
great to have the feedback of Amelia that she's fine with that.
But that could come in a final comment period. I mean, like it's 5 days ago that this was posted.
Yeah, how do you feel about starting?
Yeah. So I'm fine.
There's still we still can get rejections here or comments which can block, right? It's
That's
not
the
that
idea of a final comment period, right?
Yes.
It's also a good signal to people that they need to go pay attention. So
Yeah. Um,
Concurrence?
Concurrence, yeah, makes sense. Until next week. We are over time. I will put the final comment
Yeah, thank
period,
you.
and I also comment on the other one, Greg, about that we need maybe to iterate one time on the foundation infrastructure working group to
Yeah,
align.
I left a reply on it, but take a look at it and let me know if there's any other changes to make.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Just
And
a quick question on process. These comments that people are putting onto it or things that we want to update, are we allowed to do that or just leave it as comments and somebody else merges it in later? How does that work for your RFC process?
People leave comments. Ideally, you as an author incorporate the feedback into your
Okay.
RFC, post back
Mhm.
what you changed, right? And then eventually ideally everything gets resolved, and then we start a final comment period. And then if there's no objections, it gets
Okay.
merged.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that I'm allowed to make the change. So,
Yes, you are.
Sure.
well,
You're encouraged to. Like,
okay, great.
okay, then see you next week and take care. Bye bye.
take care, bye.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
folks.